The vault smelled of nothing at all. No rust, no decay, just empty space where 500 metal boxes should have rested. In March of 1996, a junior auditor named Dmitri Voronov pressed his hand against cold concrete in a basement beneath Moscow's Treasury building. His flashlight caught the same thing on every shelf. A thin layer of dust, undisturbed, forming perfect rectangles where gold had once been catalogued. In his report he wrote one line. It said simply, "Asset count does not match physical inventory." He did not explain where 168 metric tons of pure Russian gold had gone. The world never asked. To understand why this disappearance matters, you need to understand what gold reserves actually represent. They are not investments. They are insurance. When a nation's currency collapses, when its borders shift, when its government changes overnight, the gold stays. It is the last line of confidence between a country and chaos. In 1991, the Soviet Union held the world's third largest gold hoard. Official records stated 512 tons. By the time Boris Yeltsin's administration audited the reserves in 1996, only 344 tons remained. 168 tons had vanished during a 5-year window when Russia was supposedly managing its own wealth. That gold was worth roughly $2 billion at 1996 prices. Today, it would be worth more than $8 billion. The first public clue appeared in a leaked memo from the Russian Central Bank. Dated October 19, 1993, the document mentioned a transfer of physical reserves to external storage partners. The memo used the word partners 3 times. It never named them. It never listed locations. It simply noted that gold had left Russian custody and was now, somehow, someone else's responsibility. A journalist at Izvestia newspaper obtained a copy. Her editor killed the story. He told her it was too complicated for readers. She kept the document in her desk drawer for 11 years. When she finally published it in 2004, the gold had already been missing for over a decade. What Voronov found in 1996 was not a simple shortage. The vault security log showed no signs of forced entry. No alarms had triggered. No guards reported anything unusual during the 5 years when the gold allegedly sat in those shelves. The inventory cards inside the vault matched the old Soviet-era records exactly. Someone had updated them. Someone had kept the fiction alive, long after the gold itself had vanished. In forensic accounting, this pattern has a name. Experts call it ghost inventory. It is the signature of an inside job executed slowly, with patience. Whoever took the gold did not steal it in one dramatic night. They removed it piece by piece, year by year, while maintaining the appearance of its presence. The official investigation lasted 7 months. It produced a 40-page report that concluded, quote, "Insufficient evidence to pursue criminal charges." The document blamed record-keeping errors from the Soviet transition period. It suggested that perhaps some gold had been melted down and sold through legitimate channels. It mentioned that Russia had been poor in the 1990s. It implied that maybe the gold had simply been spent on bread and medicine during a difficult time. None of these explanations accounted for the ghost inventory. None of them explained why security logs showed no outgoing transfers. And none of them mentioned what happened to the $2 billion that the gold should have generated if it had been sold through official channels. Here is what the official report did not mention. In 1994, a Swiss customs officer named Meier stopped a shipment at the Geneva free port. The cargo manifest listed industrial machinery. Inside the containers, he found 23 gold bars stamped with Russian assay marks. The serial numbers matched Soviet-era production runs. The paperwork listed a shell company in Cyprus as the recipient. When Swiss authorities tried to trace ownership, the company had no physical office. Its registered agent was a lawyer in Zurich who had never met his client. The bars were confiscated. The case was quietly closed. No one was charged. No one asked why Russian gold was sitting in a Swiss warehouse under a false manifest in the first place. The most widely accepted explanation is surprisingly mundane. During the 1990s, Russia was broke. Its economy had collapsed. Its government was corrupt. It is entirely plausible, mainstream historians argue, that officials sold gold off the books to pay immediate expenses. Arms dealers, warlords, currency traders. The gold moved through offshore accounts and reappeared in private vaults across London, Dubai, and New York. This explanation is comforting because it fits a familiar narrative. Russia was chaotic. Corruption was everywhere. Of course, gold disappeared. But this explanation has a problem. It requires us to believe that someone somewhere, sold 168 tons of gold without ever causing a ripple in global markets. That is like removing a skyscraper from Manhattan without anyone noticing. Consider the timeline again. The ghost inventory appeared in records through 1995. Then suddenly the discrepancy vanished from all official documents. The audit in 1996 found only the 344 tons. Someone went into the records and corrected them. Someone with access to both the physical vault and the administrative systems removed all trace of the missing gold from the paper trail. In most criminal investigations, this is called sanitizing the evidence. In Russia in the 1990s, it was apparently just another Tuesday. The man who signed the final audit report was named Dmitri Voronov. He left government service in 1997 and founded a technology company. He is now a billionaire living in Israel. He has never spoken publicly about the gold. There is another explanation that investigators have quietly explored. What if the gold never left Russia at all? What if it is still there, buried somewhere in the vast, uncharted territory of a nation that spans 11 time zones? In 2012, a retired FSB officer gave an interview to a Russian newspaper. He claimed that during the 1990s, a classified program had moved strategic reserves to multiple undisclosed locations. He called it Operation Deposits. He said it was designed to protect state assets from foreign seizure during a period of political instability. He provided no documentation, he offered no proof, but he described the locations with specific geographic coordinates. When a documentary crew visited one of those coordinates, a disused military facility in the Ural Mountains, they found a sealed bunker. Inside, they found empty wooden pallets arranged in rows. The dust patterns suggested something had rested there for years. The pallets were gone. The building was locked. No one answered the door. Today, Russia's official gold reserves stand at over 2,000 tons. The nation has rebuilt its hoard methodically, purchasing gold on international markets every year since 2005. The official narrative is one of recovery and stability. The vanished gold of the 1990s is rarely mentioned. Russian officials refer to it as a legacy accounting issue. Western analysts call it one of the great unsolved financial mysteries of the post-Soviet era. Both phrases are technically accurate. Neither explains where the gold went, neither identifies who moved it. Neither answers the question that haunts every auditor who has ever opened those dusty files. Where is the gold? That question remains unanswered. Perhaps it sits in a private vault in Geneva, awaiting an owner who will never claim it. Perhaps it rests in a concrete bunker in the Urals, forgotten by everyone who put it there. Or perhaps the answer is simpler and more disturbing. Perhaps there was never a mystery at all. Perhaps the people who took the gold simply had the power to take it, and the rest of the world had no choice but to look away. Join us next time on Phantom Atlas, when we explore another vanished treasure. This one is buried beneath a pyramid in Egypt. Local officials claim it was never there. The ground-penetrating radar says otherwise. End of script. Word count. Approximately 1,180 words. Estimated runtime. 7 minutes 50 seconds at moderate narration. Peace.